Welcome to Episodes from the Garage, the official, unofficial voice of the elite Girls Rugby League. 12 teams from Connecticut to South Carolina and some of the best girls high school rugby in the States. Listen in for game recaps, stories, interviews, and more from in and around the EGRL. Episodes from the Garage is made possible with support from Basecamp 31, a New Jersey nonprofit that brings individuals and businesses together to invest in healthy community and personal development through shared human experience. And now, episode 14.
14.
Woo! Woo!
Ric Flair.
Welcome back.
There, absolutely. Welcome back, nature fans. Here we are, episode 14. We've got a pretty good lineup. Couple of solid topics that's probably going to take us a good 45 minutes to an hour to cover.
So that's 3 hours.
Listen,
Solid 3 hours of content.
we had
settle in.
comedy gold going on before this. Before we even hit the record button. Jan Monrad is en fuego today, en fuego, and we're gonna bring that back. We're gonna reprise his role because it's so worth it. But just running through the topics, we're gonna do the fall campaign. Talk about that. ID camps, 2 of those that just happened. Of course, the great segment. What are you wearing? And then we're going to cover something that's a little bit somber, but a great event, the 4th annual McDevitt Cup, and we'll talk about that. But let's go around the horn and introduce ourselves to our gigantic listening audience.
Starting here.
Why not?
Hi, everybody. Mike Eisenhart. Good to be with you.
All right, Mike. Steph Aliprandi, always a pleasure.
Bill Dobbs.
Bill Dobbs.
That's all you got?
You got no emotion tied with that. Just straight
Nothing.
up.
Just
Yeah,
my
I know.
name.
Bill Dobbs.
He's not even happy to be here.
Not even.
It's my house.
He's warming up.
And I'm Jan Monrad, and I'm happy to be here.
And great behind the camera, we've got Chris Production O'Brien and Nelson Primo Galarza. Thanks, guys, for all the work you do back there. What's the matter?
Production dog.
Oh, and of course, Bravo. I don't know where.
He's
where
over
is
here.
he?
He's
Oh,
in
is
here
he?
somewhere.
And Bravo Production Dog. It's better that he be in here because otherwise he's whining at the door. He likes to be involved,
Yes.
so you get it.
Take the dog out of the fight.
Anyway, let's kick it off with the fall campaign. 7s, and now we're sprinkling in a little bit of 15s, which I
Yeah.
think is fantastic. Bill Dobbs really kind of behind that piece of it. So either one of you guys want to kick it off, talking
Yeah,
about
how
that?
did we get here?
How did we get here?
Because I'm not a Sevens fan. And
Come on.
I think the girls would
Pish
do
on,
better with
pish on.
playing more 15s throughout the year than 7s. And I think the All-Star thing, if we can get it to my vision eventually, I think we'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're a couple years away, but
Yeah.
good progress this year. Seems
Oh,
like it.
100%.
Good step in the right direction. I mean, and fairness, that's also what we're hearing from the colleges. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the colleges are coming back and saying, hey, like, there's a lot of 7s that's played, but we really need kids who understand the 15 side of this, and so the more reps they can get doing it, the better. We're very happy to see it, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a very different game, right? There, it's 2 codes of the game, very different from one another. 7s came out to keep the backs fit in the off season, and now it's kind of become more of the, dare I say, the premier event in the United States, much to our chagrin, who have grown up playing 15s and stuff. But hey, any rugby is good rugby. But glad that we've added that 15s component into the fall as well.
I mean, listen, last time we were here, we didn't have a bronze medal. We do now.
Yeah.
Holy
Something
cow.
to be said for
True.
that.
So the Olympics definitely was a factor.
Sure.
But I think that if you can play 15s, you can play 7s. If you only play 7s, you're gonna be lost on a 15s field.
That's
Fastest
fair.
is a game that
Yeah.
don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might be a little loud on that mic over there, I think.
Well,
that,
you look at
Jan.
No, I
our
just like-
our men's national team in 7s.
It's close.
They have some great players, great rugby players
Absolutely.
in 7s.
Absolutely.
They go to 15s, they're done.
Yeah.
They're right back to 7s. And the one track star who went over to, what do you go, to Glasgow?
I don't know.
Yeah, he got a contract with Glasgow to play 15s. I think he lasted a month.
Was it Baker?
No,
Was it Perry Baker? Carlin Isles.
Carlin Isles.
Is that
Yeah.
right? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember something about that. I mean, yeah, but hey, look, I mean, you're talking crossover athletes. I mean, latter in their career after having stellar track and field careers through high school and college. I mean, and hats off to them for making that transition.
Yeah.
And, they've made an impact in that game. They've put us
Oh,
up in the World
I'm
Cup
not
a
knocking
few
the
times.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him.
No, I don't
Well,
think so.
and in fairness,
I don't think
the rise of 7s has changed the style of 15th. I mean, we're seeing a much more open style than we
100%.
did years ago, right? So, like, they complement each other in my mind. I mean, it's a good thing.
Right, you're getting away from the if I may borrow the dreaded pick and go out of it, right? And the ball's moving through hands a lot more.
Yeah,
so,
well, and you're seeing more players who don't traditionally have ball skills. Now you have to have it. Like, everybody's pass catch has to be better.
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
game is faster and more open. So, yeah, it's fun. I think the other things like the new
it is
rules.
fun. It
you
is
know,
fun.
Yeah, the new rules are forcing that more open style. So the game is getting faster and fitter and lots more ball movement.
That's a great point. And I mean, you can't tell me that watching Fiji, play sevens isn't one of the most exciting things you've seen on TV, right?
Yeah.
It's like those guys, those men and women are spectacular, right? And
Yeah, but they're doing that at 15s too.
They
I
are
watched
doing
the
that in
USA
15s.
Fiji game last night, and which Fiji dominated us on all part of the game. I
Really?
thought, and I'm sorry if you didn't know this.
Yeah,
What happened?
Yeah.
but,
Go ahead. Spoiler. Go ahead.
But Fiji's, with
well, check that one off.
the way they're offloading everything in that game, it was fantastic to watch
Yeah.
them. It was kind of killed me as a fan of the USA.
Yeah,
to
sure.
see
Patriot.
us getting beat like
True
that.
patriot.
But
Yeah.
gotta give it to them. It was very hot and humid in Japan and Tokyo yesterday. So
Yeah. Is that what it was, you think?
no,
Sorry, there was a layup.
Listen, I don't get why they're playing in Tokyo in September. I've been to Tokyo in September. It's hot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole section of that country that is a lot cooler at this point in the year. You know what I mean? I don't know why we're torturing our athletes there. I mean, listen, great complexes there. I mean,
Yeah.
Fantastic World Cup when we went in 19. But, there's cooler places to play. Go easy on these
go to
folks.
Florida in
Yeah.
August.
Yeah,
Exactly. There's almost,
Key West.
almost every
Key
place
West
is
in
cooler.
July.
Ta-da.
Key West in July.
Key West in July. Beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful. So, all right, so talking a little bit about more, I think the interesting thing about that is kind of the 15s is now leading us into, the fall campaign kind of thing in the 15s. We've actually, if I'm not mistaken, locally have stepped away from playing in the PA League in order to play a little bit more tournament style. And then kind of offers the opening to add that 15s component. And no shot at the PA tournament, right? But it's been great for the last few years, but I think it gives a little more flexibility to be kind of tournament style.
I mean, Pennsylvania has an amazing infrastructure for rugby.
100%.
I mean, at the high school level, they really do. You got to give Dylan and the whole crew out there, like, they have a lot to work with. A lot of schools, a lot of teams. And so they put together a nice, event and series.
They certainly do.
There's some limitations for those of us who are outside of the state because you can't play for the championship. They sort of like say, hey, this is a state tournament. Like, you can come in and play select events if you want, which is nice. But I think the nice thing about it now is, like, you don't have to be in the full series to play. Like, you can kind of pick and choose. So you pick and choose some games that are close or not close enough by to make it work, and then you can still also have events. And I mean, that's the other part of it, right? Pennsylvania is an enormous landmass, so if those games are in Doylestown or Downingtown for a team like ours and other teams in the area, like, you can get there.
Yeah.
If those games are in the other side of the state, in Pittsburgh, like,
Sure.
that's a haul. That's an overnight game.
Tough on a Sunday.
Yeah. So that ability to sort of pick and choose has opened it up to other teams that want to kind of get together. So for EGRL, we're having 2 EGRL Sevens events this fall. And,
awesome.
One will be hosted at Morris and one will be hosted at Doylestown. There's a lot of reasons why that is. Some of it is that we're sort of centrally located in the territory, but then also we have fields that we can get easily and have kind of dedicated fields. So those are real assets. But yeah, I think September 29th at Doylestown and middle of October, I want to say like 12th or 14th or something, maybe 19th at our place. And so, so those 2 events, and then we've kind of peppered in other teams are going to play some of the Pennsylvania events. The Westchester Sevens is always big. Teams go out and play in Westchester. And 27th, and then that also allows us to have some open weekends to do some of the fall 15. So it's a nice hybrid season this year. Not all the teams are participating, which is fine. And of course, the teams in the South, they have their own league. Charlotte and Wando and Raleigh and all them. They're all playing in their own league, but it's a nice kind of setup, I think. So it's a step toward fall 15s.
I think that's great, and to your point, right? It lets kind of like that local component of the game continue to build, right? So you want Charlotte and Wando and those teams down there to have their kind of their home components, right? As you do up here as well. Like when we either travel to Pennsylvania or go up to Pelham to play up there, which is another great series of games or tournament weekends that they put together. It's hats off to those guys.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point, the flexibility of not being locked into something like that does give us the opportunity to develop even more the 15s piece.
Yeah, and to your point about Pelham and schools, like programs like that, those are those programs that are often not big enough to put 15s together, so we see them a little bit in the fall playing 7s.
Yeah.
And then some of those kids wind up coming and playing like in the showcase in June with other teams. Like they'll jump on and play with Greenwich, or they'll play with,
sure.
they'll come out and get
Fairfield,
some reps
whomever.
with, whoever. So it's nice because you kind of can get a little of everything. And it still leaves time for our production team to get up to West Point, call a game.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Let's talk a little bit about that. Huh?
Good lead-in.
That was really good.
Whoa! That was a good day.
That was a fun day.
Listen, guys, that was really well put together. Hats off to our friend Bill LeClaire, who brought us up there for the day, and we were able to stream and commentate on the game. They put us up in a great spot at the Anderson Rugby Complex right up top, where they have the coach's office, and we had a fantastic view of the field. Bill Dobbs in his debut behind the camera.
Woo, buddy.
Yeah.
Only got yelled at once by Production O'Brien.
That's
not bad.
That's
not bad.
It's unheard of.
Step it up, O'Brien. Give this guy some crap.
Jeez, yeah, seriously. Why so kind?
But anyway, we had a lot of fun that afternoon, and we were able to go up there and see two programs where we have graduates of the Morris program at both at the Military Academy and Mount St. Mary's. Kind of a tough day out for Mount St. Mary's, and I think. Army came out with, War came out with something to prove after having kind of a rough weekend the prior, and they certainly did. But what we did see in that game, I think, that was really important was, it was War's Day, right?
Yeah, right.
And when we say war, it's Women Army Rugby. So to give some props to Mount St. Mary's, I think the pack work out of Mount St. Mary's was pretty solid that day.
Yeah.
They were really, I think they were in control most of that component. But Army Rugby I think the backfield was clicking. The ball was coming out clean, and, they put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, to bring it back around to the group here, right, like, it was cool for us, I think. It was fun. It was, Bill hooked us up with our first chance of kind of doing a big primetime game, and,
that was awesome.
We brought the whole crew, and, and I think that women's game has probably close to 1,000 views, which is awesome.
Well,
is that right?
Yeah, it's 850, 900.
Yeah,
okay.
No, it was good, and we were missing somebody from sailing.
Yeah, we were short
Somebody had
one.
to
It's
swab
like
the
we
deck.
were
Not the
there
whole
one.
crew. I was
Navy fan.
I was yachting.
Navy fan.
I was yachting.
Yachting.
On a yacht, yeah. 44-footer.
Oh, you're on the circle line, huh?
I was double booked.
How was that nice?
Wow.
He was really on the dinghy.
Oh, the circle line. Lovely. Anyway, a lot of fun. We had a great day up there, right? And it's such a fantastic complex. It's one of those that, like, it makes you feel good about rugby in this country, right? And where it's going. Like, coming from Wisconsin, where we went to that tremendous pitch, that set up the two pitches, clubhouse in the middle, and then you go to Anderson Rugby Complex, and I mean, state of the art.
Yeah.
Full natural turf field, and then the field to the side, all turf for for practice, etc. And then everything you could possibly want under the roof there, taken care of. Really, what a hell of a complex.
Agree.
It was a good day. Shout out to all of our girls from both sides, not only Morris girls, which I think there was 8 of them.
Yeah, it's a pretty good showing,
7 or 8 of them. Cecilia.
Yeah, Wando player.
Wando
EGRL.
player, Wahini. Man, what a game she had.
day.
Coming
Holy cow.
off
Number 8.
bad knee surgery, a year ago, and to be playing like that after those surgeries and knowing what she went through, I was amazed.
Yeah.
That kid's a player. And I loved watching all the girls. They all played well, both sides. But man, she put on a show.
Yeah, man, I think we counted, it was something like, I don't know, 15, 16 EGRL players between the two sides.
Amazing.
Which was awesome to see. And
Yeah.
and yeah, she's one of them.
Yeah. What a game, too. You're absolutely right. Like, you wouldn't have known that woman had, some pretty serious knee injury only 12 months ago, right? Like, you could tell by the tape work that, work had
Something
been
was
done,
there,
but,
right.
man, it wasn't holding her back at all.
And before her injuries, and I don't just want to focus on one person, but before her injuries, the U20 game a year ago,
Yeah, in Canada.
she came in that second half, and what an impact she
Made an impact, yeah.
True impact finisher.
Yeah.
So, glad you're back.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So are we.
And Wando has an exceptional program down there, down in the Charleston area.
Absolutely.
They have a great coaching staff and great facilities. They're
Our
definitely
Frank Gary Golson and
Yeah, they sent
family
a
and
lot
team
of people
and,
to Clemson.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
See what you just
I have a good
did
friend that I played with at the University of South Carolina.
But his wife went to
Butch
Clemson.
says,
Saucer of
But
milk,
his wife
table
went to
5.
Clemson.
but his wife and 2 kids went to Clemson.
there. What have you done?
I know what he did wrong.
So easy.
What have you done? Just pull string here.
Oh, my God. Just baiting them.
Whose string is getting pulled? His? It's like one of those baby dolls. Keep pulling the string.
You can barely see his mouth moving.
Yeah. Except nobody's pulling the
Quacking
string.
the monkey.
Except nobody's pulling the string.
Oh,
You
you're
just
going to be
keep going.
editing forever on this one.
Oh, God.
Okay.
The other
This
person we
is-
have to mention, too, Sophia Linder, captain of Army.
Yeah,
Um,
Yes.
Nice interview with
One of-
Sophia. That was
Absolutely.
awesome.
Totally
Yeah,
petrified
yeah.
of you.
You make these things up and then you run with it forever, and it becomes like part of the lore. It's amazing.
Oh, I
Like,
just almost went somewhere that I shouldn't
I said
have, and I'm going to let it go.
I said
You
this-
should.
I said this yesterday about him. The more he says it, the more it becomes true.
the more he believes
I'm the
it.
director of rugby. I'm the director of rugby. I'm the director of rugby. Now everybody's calling him the director of rugby.
No, nobody's calling me director of rugby.
I do.
You don't count it.
Yeah, because I'm not a coach. That's right.
That's right.
Doesn't even have a coin yet.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Should
no
we get to
coin.
that, or
No, not yet.
Save it for later.
save it for? Okay, we got
me
to
deep.
get back on
Like a
track.
fine wine, it has to decant.
Right,
Is that the word?
Sure.
right. Blue nun for you.
I don't know.
Blue
That's
nun.
what we had on the yacht last week.
And so, wrapping up what was a great day up at West Point. And Mike, to your point, again, thanks to Bill LeClaire for giving us that opportunity to bring our production company up there and call our first, call and stream our first, D1 game, which was
it was
really fun to
cool.
do.
Pretty
Fun to
cool.
do.
You guys were on that, too. Your commentary was good.
It was a good setup. I liked it.
I got to hear you the whole time being right next to you. Commentary was good.
Thanks,
Yeah.
brother.
Thank
You know what the best part was that referee mic.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome. Being able to mic into that and then we could chat quickly about it. So, and nice refereeing from that team of 3 that was on the field that day.
Yeah.
Really solid work. One of the things that I saw that I loved about it was there was that yellow card impacting Army Rugby, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Sure.
It was the offside, and I'm listening to him as she comes back onto the field, the player. And he's like, hey, listen, you're doing everything right except for where you're standing. He's like, do me a favor, just drop back a couple of steps.
take a step, sure.
Everything's going to be great. And I'm like, man, well done.
Simple.
Like,
Yeah.
simple, not, just get it across and let's get the game moving. No
Sure.
animosity, like really good stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't a personal thing. I got to call it.
Not one
Instructive.
bit. Not one
And
bit.
instructed.
Exactly. So, just putting a bow on that. We're, for other programs out there, we're available. Let us know.
Yeah, right
we'd
on.
love to come and do it for you guys.
Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Fun day.
Before we get off, kudos for the tailgate. Nelson's onions were a hit, as
solid.
usual.
Oh my God,
Solid
the
work.
best batch yet.
In fact, we got some in the crock pot over there for
They
later.
make
is
Sabret
that
look
right?
And,
like nothing.
Good time, though, with all the parents that, people we don't know that we got to meet. And everybody's super friendly. There was a bunch of people from California there, because it was senior day.
Yeah, it was senior day, so a lot of the families came in.
That was very cool.
Yeah, so that
Very
was that
cool.
was really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm happy we were there set up early for the senior part of the day.
Yep.
So all the parents and people who weren't there from out of state, out of country, got to see it.
Yeah, many of those folks, we're sort of spoiled, and I'm speaking just for myself and Lindsay, we're only an hour and a half away, so we get to get up there all the time.
Sure.
And, you don't know until you get up there and you see it, what a great place it is. And like these folks are here for the first time, and they're just like, this is amazing. And then to your point, like, you know, because this is what we do, and we're just used to this, and we just bring a traveling group of tailgate everywhere we go, like, you know,
We're gypsies.
Merry
just like another
pranksters.
just like another day, you know. People are like, this is amazing, what a great setup, and we're like, yeah, it's just a Saturday, you know? Like, yeah. So I don't know. I think it was nice, and it was a nice touch, and in fairness, thank you to you guys for always doing that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, we
that
love
was
it.
Alyssa's feedback. You know, Alyssa was like, it's so cool to have people there cheering you on. You know, you feel loved. It's awesome.
That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before we jump off, you did a hell of a job on the camera, brother.
You did.
First time
Thanks.
jumped in,
Appreciate
so
it.
you know we're actually taking Dobbs away from a little bit of coaching and now making him part of the production staff, and it's only making us stronger, which is an important thing, right? So it kind of gives a little
In other
flexibility.
words, they're demoting me and putting me on a camera.
Yeah, you just got to get better.
Diverting you.
You got to get better at coaching. That's all.
You're still able to direct.
All those coins are weighing him down.
I got too many coins in my pocket.
Not weighing Jan down. No.
No, I'm light as a feather.
Go right to it.
We'll get to that in a second. Let's go
decanting.
into the ID camp. There was an ID camp yesterday in beautiful Clinton Township out by Mike, and then I think it was last week in Charlotte. And basically, these are two components of the road to Tampa, which has become a really great tournament for us to get down to every year. I mean, this will be year 3 for us, I think.
Yes.
Against the Thunderbirds and Rugby South, USA Rugby
USA
South.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now USA West.
And now USA West.
Yep. So this year it's again 4 representative sides, and USA West has sort of locked into it. So that'll be the 4 teams this year.
Awesome.
You know, the selects, EGRL Selects will represent, let's call it like the northern mid-Atlantic, and then there's USA South, which is mostly southeast, and then Midwest, obviously Midwest, the Thunderbirds,
Sure,
and then
sure.
USA Rugby
Great program.
West, which is in Colorado. So they're kind of like the mountain region.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're looking forward to it. I mean, again, that transition of fall 15s is what allows us to kind of build the selects program. The ID camps are exactly that. Get the kids together who are in the pool. For EGRL, the way we do it is you get in the pool by being selected to an all EGRL honor like the year before. So if you were honorable mention, first team, second team, you have an automatic invite.
Okay.
And then from there, coaches also put names forward that we might have missed. And so they say, hey, this kid deserves to be in that mix. We invite them all to come out. They do some education. They do some drills. Yesterday, we were really, kind of pleased and honored to have Ken from Munster. So he's a girls
fantastic,
development
really?
officer.
Awesome,
Came
yeah.
out.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Did a really nice job. Ken Imbusch from Munster.
Great guy.
The week before, Charlotte hosted, so Alicia and Jeff Tice organized that. There was another 20 players. So what that ultimately is we then have 60 or so players in this pool, and we have to whittle that down from 60 to sort of like a 40 number is usually where we're now kind of getting close to picking our traveling squad, which is 25.
Yeah.
So we can carry 25 on the roster, and we have the luxury of starting with 60, which is really awesome. And that's what we're in the midst of doing.
So you bring up a great point, and Ken made me think of that when you said Ken Imbusch, and we got to talk about what happened this past week too.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't actually have that on the agenda here. So we had a team from a group from Munster Academies come in, which is unbelievable, right? One of the top European, global clubs, right?
Yeah,
Munster Rugby. Storied club, beat the All Blacks in '72, and have won countless championships, Heineken Cups, etc. And we actually had their full staff from the academy side, led by Ken Imbusch and team, and also had Keith Earls, who just recently retired from. Not provincial play, but also international play, representing Ireland for, I'm not sure he's a Centurion, but if he isn't, he's damn close. Yeah. And another terrific guy, but a really great event. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't have much to do with it. Brian, if Brian was here, would have
Hat
been,
tip.
the man to kind of talk about that. He's been very connected
Brian
with
was
them.
here, Jan wouldn't be.
There you go. So
That's true.
So, Brian would be there.
Yeah.
He'd be sitting in this spot. That's right.
But in fairness, this is our first day with the green microphone, so consider
True.
it. This is a
First
good,
time ever.
don't mess it up, but
I'll try not
this
to.
is an important
I'll
moment.
try not to.
So anyway,
So-
I cut you off. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, and so
No,
Brian
he's-
was kind of
why
he's
not?
been sort of the connection
Yes.
point with them, and
Yes.
and they've done a lot. They've been super gracious with their time. I mean, they have a great infrastructure there on both the men's, obviously, but also the women's side. And Ken is the development officer for the women's side. So we've been in touch. We've done some like webinar kind of stuff, some connections with their coaching staff, and they've been super, super great. So so they came out and they were on the Morris side. Had a great day with both the girls and boys side. So we all got
tons
together.
of players out there. Yeah. Drew University women came as well.
Drew
courtesy
showed
of
up
Jan.
and got some reps in. And so that was great. And then so that they were stationed in the city while they're here, but Brian convinced him to come back, which is an hour from the city back to Clinton, and give part of this camp that we did yesterday. So just a great dude.
Extremely generous with his time and with his.
That was a long day yesterday.
Yeah, long day in the heat.
He was there. I think he had 3 shirt changes and a couple hat changes.
What a good dude. Yeah.
Good guy. Stuck with it and positive all throughout the day on everything.
Yeah. I mean, this is his time off now too, right? He's done the work all week, right?
I think
he's got family joining. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, so they were here they had some big fundraising stuff to do in the city. And they have a nice connection, in New York City and sort of this surrounding area. So, but they do a lot of community work, and they're doing it here in the States.
Huge crowd of fans on the Tuesday night at Menon. I mean, I haven't seen that many old boys together.
Muster together for
there was almost as many old boys there just to watch as there was the kids playing. Yeah.
Old boy fanboys.
They all had their little notebooks with getting autographs and stuff. It was fun to see.
Yeah, and Keith was gracious with all the signatures. And we go back, and I think it was January, Chris, right? You just pointed that actually 3 of us and Brian, who's not here, were actually able to go to the Munster Youth Camp that they were hosting down there. So we were actually over there for the Old Boys game, the annual never-to-be-repeated-again trip to Castle Island, year 11, I think it is, and we peeled off from the group for a couple of days. I want to thank my wife on camera for letting me go because she stayed with the tour group. Thank you, Katie. You're a good lady. And we went down.
She was happy to get rid of you.
She might have been. Actually, she did get me a shirt from Sean's Bar, which I thought was pretty nice. So
there you go.
She did miss me a little bit.
Her loss was our gain.
I can tell you that.
We had a great time with those guys down in Tralee, and thanks to Chris and the family, his family over there, who loaned us a car to get around while we were down there, and then we stayed with Brian's family down in Killarney. So hats off to them as well. They hosted us for a great night in downtown, and Nina as well. Yeah. And I actually got to run into an old colleague from Heineken who's originally from Killarney, and I haven't seen in 10 years. So we had a few pints that night with Eamon, and shout out to my pal Eamon O'Sullivan as well.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was an overall really good introduction to that crew, especially Ken.
Yeah,
Ken,
I'm not a
Ken,
big drinker.
Once again, was very generous.
A little sherry around the holiday,
with his time.
Jan.
I'm sorry?
Jan he was trying to. Go.
Sorry. What were you?
Go again. It was a nice intro.
Jan, you were talking?
Take it from. It was a nice introduction.
We were having a moment. We were having a moment here. Sorry, Jan.
Go ahead, Jan.
It was a nice introduction.
No, so that trip to Ireland was an. You son of a gun.
Oh man, if you can't have fun at Jan's expense, I don't know what you can do.
It comes full circle.
It's cheap.
It comes full
cheap
circle.
At my expense. Cheap. Anyway, it was a very nice introduction when we were in Ireland to Ken and his staff there, and they were once again very generous with their time and very patient with us.
Did you buy that shirt?
We were just coming off of. I'll answer that in a minute. We were just coming off of the airplane. We were coming off the airplane. We were all pretty jet lagged, but it was a great group, and we definitely appreciate it.
And did you buy that shirt there?
No, I bought it at a mall.
Oh.
That's right. We stopped at the mall, and Chris was kind enough to get us over to the mall so that Jan could shop for more gear.
Are we gonna? Is that?
Might as well just. Yeah, you might as well just jump right into it. Let's go. Get for it. Top to bottom. He came prepared. He's got an entire ensemble to talk about.
My favorite part of this podcast, and I never ever cringe at all when you guys go through it. When you guys go through, this is what I'm wearing. So today, I'm wearing a shirt that I bought over in Ireland, but it is the Munster jersey, and I bought it because it was a fantastic trip. But also, I'm wearing it today in honor of how generous, I've said that word many times, Munster has been with Morris
100%.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Morris Rugby, EGRL, now
Terrific.
EGRL,
Yeah.
and our coaching. So, Munster, thank you.
Don't forget your lid.
Oh, and my hat was purchased for me by my good friend Chris O'Brien, and it is the Wisconsin Rugby Sports Complex hat,
It is.
and it's nice. It's a nice hat. It fits well.
It's nice.
You know, it's funny. I don't.
It makes a nice sandwich.
We were thinking about getting rid of that segment, but the way you brought it up like that, I mean,
Oh, it's here to
It's a
stay
segment.
now.
I think we're gonna have to stick with it.
That's it.
Nice work there.
That's
thank
it.
you.
Stays. It's a winner.
Does.
It is a good hat.
So with that hat, yes, Chris O'Brien bought me a hat like that too. I think you got one.
I did.
Jeez.
Basically, we bought him a beer. He bought us hats. It worked out perfect.
That was not bad. That was not
And
bad.
staying with that theme, there's a hat over there
Speaking
that
of
Steph
hats.
Alaprande bought me. But these were given to us in France at World Cup. I can't wear it because of the earphone.
Because of their big noggin.
Because of the big noggin. But anyway, I digress. Wearing my Rugby Showcase East shirt today
In plum.
in plum
Is that the color? Plum?
because it makes me look plum.
There you go.
So round,
But-
so firm, so
Where
fully
it is,
packed.
because
Purple snowman.
in my opinion, and yes, it's my opinion, best damn showcase in the country.
Hell yeah.
Only one close is number 2, and that's Rugby Showcase South.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean-
I like it.
And that's going to be here before we know it, because we'll be starting our season up in no time in
Yeah.
the spring. And
Yeah, I
Yeah.
owe Christine a conversation about that. Gotta
Okay.
Lock down a date. I'm pretty sure Guilford wants to host it again.
Awesome. I skipped me because mine
Oh,
will
you won't
segue
laugh.
into the next
okay,
one.
fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, I got nothing special today. I'm going with the Morris 7s.
Nothing
The-
special?
The Chris O'Brien designed Morris 7s gear shirt, and just a tribute to Bowden with the Bowden
you're
hat.
wearing a Bowden hat because you're not paying them anymore.
Bowden hat, yeah, because I almost own it. Yeah, a couple more years and I'll own this hat. Sorry, but yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, no, this was you, man. I think, yeah, 23. It's a quality blend, very soft to the
Lot of
touch.
work right there.
It's 1 year old.
Chris, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing an old.
Talk into the mic.
Talk into Steph's face.
Hey, Steph, how's you doing?
Hi, Chris.
That's weird.
He's uncomfortably
Awfully close. Yeah.
Thankfully, I can cut all this, but so I got the Munster jersey from many years ago, and so again, it was with credit to Ken and Colm and Keith, who came out on Tuesday night to help the Morris youth programs get some professional level coaching, and then of course Ken yesterday with us, which of course you already touched on. So fantastic chance to welcome the Munster guys again to Morris County. So.
Yeah, and while he's on
And-
camera, we all want to thank this guy again for his and his family's hospitality when we were there in January. That was
Yeah.
that was awesome.
And to be
Yeah.
clear, they don't just give these jerseys away.
Not to anybody.
No,
You-
they're
you have
expensive.
To, you have to buy them.
You go to the mall and buy it.
You got to go to the mall and buy it.
I mean, yeah. They're not just giving this away.
They don't just
Just
give these
give
away.
away.
You got to
Are we-
hand them
are we
€100.
still on yesterday?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Good day, though.
Yeah.
Real good day. Very well run. Hats off to you for organizing it.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
I went from just walking around to full-in coaching, and
man.
I enjoyed every moment of it yesterday.
Which is your favorite thing to do?
I do. I
Yeah,
enjoy being
yeah.
on the field. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, and you're good at it.
but-
So,
Being with the forwards, getting to do just forwards work for the day.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ken coming in going, here, this, just like different hand positions for the locks and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
valuable.
And it showed me I'm on the right track with everything I'm doing, and a couple little adjustments just makes it better because you have the decision, all right, what are you going to bind second rows? Pocket, around the leg on the pocket, or on the shorts? I always hear both arguments from both sides. I know the newest way or the best way has always been on the pocket. The girls have trouble with that. But talking to him about it, now I know what way we should be going
Yeah,
and
that's
why.
nice.
I know the whys now.
That's
'Cause
cool.
that's what the girls want to know is the why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And,
did. He spent quite a
good
bit
point.
of time over there.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast.
And it gives us a little bit of credibility, right? Like when we
Yeah.
can say it all we want, and they're used to us and they see us all
Right.
the time, and then someone
point.
from an entirely different program, an entirely different country, comes and says the same things that we've been
generally,
saying,
right.
and it shows that rugby universally, is standard, you have your standard operating procedure, right?
Yep.
And we're able to impart it the same way other programs also instruct it. So it's good.
The only difference is, as the girls said, and Marissa Cogan said this, in 2017 when we were in Ireland, we had a coach come in and run a practice for the girls, the U14s. And I said to them, I go, we do this at practice. Why are you doing it right now? She goes, you don't have an accent.
Yeah, he sounds so much better when he says it.
Yeah.
He sounded like Shrek, though, that guy. He was Scottish.
Yeah, but they love that guy.
They love them, though. They love them.
Terrific.
So, Steph, what are you wearing, sir?
Oh, before we do that, we had Troy Rhodes join us as well.
look at
So
that.
just a shout out to Troy, who's joined the coaching staff and has been organizing field work for us for like the past couple of years. So
First time in the garage.
yeah,
go.
glad to have you here, brother.
Happy
Glad
to
you
have
made it.
him.
Knocked with his elbows.
I'm not sure what that means, but
I'll tell you later.
I'm chuckling.
It means he had something in his hands. So
Oh.
he had to knock with his elbows. That's
Thank you, Jan. So
can't all be golden.
Most of it's not.
the comedy gold that was going on before we hit that record button, I was crying. Anyway, so what am I wearing? I am honored to be wearing an Old Breed jersey, which I picked up when I played with those guys 2 summers ago up in Saranac. A fantastic group of dudes. They are all former active duty Marines. There's 2 Marine teams. There's Chesty's Disciples. Call it old boy teams, Chesty's Disciples, and then there's Old Breed. And Old Breed was started by Jeff Nagel, and it's a bit of a somber story because it's a foundation. Not only do these guys, the camaraderie of being, Marine Corps members and combat experienced. They raise money for the families of their fallen comrades who they played base rugby with back in the day, and unfortunately didn't make it back from the 2 campaigns of Iraq and Afghanistan. Sure. And as I last recall on the banner, there were 44 names on it that are the bell is rung for them at the muster every time that these men get together, these men and women, because there is a women's side to this as well.
Sure.
We've established fortunately through Paul McDevitt, who was a coach with Morris Rugby, and a terrific guy, family man, father of 3 great sons, and a wonderful wife who he's unfortunately left behind in a tragic accident about 4 years ago. In 2021. The McDevitt Cup was put together, and the Old Breed guys travel from all over the United States. They come out to Morris County for the weekend. Our old boys put a side up against them. It's always a well-contested game, and it's regardless of the results, it's a hug out afterwards. And then we ended up at our local Moose Lodge yesterday, where Big Al Grace fed 150 people.
It's amazing.
I was stoking I was the pit master for him, but I can't take credit for the amount of food that this man went out and shopped for on a Thursday night, and then stayed up until 5 o'clock Friday morning cooking sausage.
Not to mention just coming off a heart surgery.
Just coming off a heart surgery. That this man is a tough man, and he's a Navy corpsman, and was attached to the Marines while his time in the service back in the 80s.
Yeah, it crosses a lot of those worlds.
Absolutely. So, it's unfortunate that the McDevitt Cup came about the way that it did,
Sure.
but we honor a really good man by doing it, we've got a friendship now, a long-lasting friendship with Old Breed, and it's been fantastic. I've had the opportunity to play with those guys from time to time. They're a terrific group of dudes, good ruggers, and there's only one other outfit I'd play for other than Morris Old Boys, and it'd be them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. And honestly, one of the things that you hear a little bit of the criticism as the sport progresses and it's on this trajectory where it's so fast is that you lose some of those cultural elements that we all know.
Well said, Mike.
And that's kind of what makes the sport so unique and so different. And that's the thing that I know if we all had it our way, that would be what we'd hand down, generation to generation, is that the culture of this sport is way more than what happens on the field. and it's that brother and sisterhood. It's that familial sort of nature, and it's epitomized in that event. So kudos to all of you for making it happen.
But staying on that topic with the culture, I think all the teams in EGRL are doing a very good job with that.
That's right.
We get together, a lot of the newer players just hang out with their team.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the weekend, when 3 or 4 teams are in a hotel, they're doing karaoke or partying in the parking lot of a hotel, and the parents are there, and the parents are all intermingling with each other, all the other clubs. The kids are singing karaoke, dancing, just having a blast. And then by the end of that weekend, everybody's friends.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could see it yesterday. I mean, we don't really talk about it. We don't put it out front all that much, but, there's 45 kids from 5 different states and packed into a room that's probably just big enough for those same 45 kids, Yep. They're tightly packed into that little cafe area, and by the end, they're friends. And I think that transcends the sport, and it's nice to see.
Right.
And it's important to note also that the coaches get along, and the coaches
right
all bounce things off of each other, and each and every
Yeah.
one of us want to see, whether it's a Doylestown kid or a North Bay kid or Aspetuck, we want to see them succeed, and we do our best to help them in any way we can.
Yep.
And I think that's a testament again to the culture, and the culture's always been that way with rugby. And there are rivalries, but they're good.
We all want to beat each other.
But they're good-hearted. They're good-hearted
you want to be on the
rivalries.
right side of the
Game's
win.
over.
It's
And that's the
Every
big
time.
thing. It's always been, for as long as we've all been playing, which is a long time, right? This is a century's worth of rugby experience in this room alone. And we have.
I don't know if I call it experience, but yeah, okay.
Well, we've been around it.
We know what not to do.
Something's going to rub off.
Yeah.
But it's always been a strong rivalry on the field, and then once you're off the field, it's a friendship.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that.
Man, well said, Jan. Absolutely.
Good
Absolutely.
job, Brian.
Hey.
Not Brian. You can call me Not Brian from now on.
Well done, not Brian. And I think testament to that was, Reagan King made it a point to walk over before the game to say hello to everybody,
Yeah.
and give everybody a hug. And her
Well,
mom
that's what I
came
told
over.
him.
and
First thing I said, I saw the kid. I'm walking up, so she goes, "Hey, is Dobbs here?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's out there in the parking lot." She's like, "Oh, cool. I want to go say hi."
She's a good
Yeah,
kid.
she came out,
That's
said hello to
awesome.
everybody. Mom followed right behind. We had a nice
Honestly,
chat.
that was probably the highlight of my day, her coming out and
Yeah.
saying hello. And
Nice.
it was a good day, and it was just good to see her and see her mom.
Nice. You didn't like seeing
Nice.
Alyssa? That's kind of offending. That's not
Yeah.
nice.
I mean-
I already talked about seeing all of our girls.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
That kid.
Sorry.
But that's another testament too. Like these kids are really busy kids, right? Like
man.
they're getting ready to play a rugby game.
Yeah.
They're in the United States Military Academy, and they're taking time, which they have not a lot of,
Right.
and coming over and making sure that they recognize the people that kind of help them along the way, and that's impressive.
So Sophia Linder had the best statement when we were chatting at the halftime interview, and we were talking about leadership, and she goes, "Yeah, this school is about leadership," and she goes, "And what it's really at the core," and I'm probably not doing it justice, and I apologize,
Probably not.
Sophia, but she goes, "They also teach you to lead in situations where you don't want to, and you just have to take command." And I was like, this is a young woman of 21, 22, 23 years of age, and that was a sage comment to make.
Yeah.
Like that is wise beyond your years. You know what I mean? They have a good cadet there. You
Yeah,
know what
right
I mean?
on.
Solid.
It gives you
solid.
hope for the future,
Yeah.
because these are the future leaders of the United States of America. I mean, they are.
100%.
They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Whew, that got
oof.
serious.
It did,
Jeez, you
too.
guys.
Oh, that's
What
good.
the-
That's
what
good
the-
from time to time.
All right. Well, listen. I have another child. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I have a son. Have you heard of him?
Oh, you had another daughter,
Yeah, we
too.
heard.
Yeah, I have a son. He's currently 10 minutes down the road, and I'm getting texts saying, "Yeah, listen, this game's going to go off on time, so I hope you make it."
Oh, you got to get
So
over
we
there,
got,
man.
We got to get to the what do we have left? Do we have anything left?
Man, I mean, we've covered it at this point.
I got one
so,
thing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I got one thing, and it'll be quick.
Yeah, man.
So something very, very, I don't know if it's good or bad.
Oh, jeez.
Something
This is
important
quick.
happened yesterday. EGRL is down to only one
Oh
undefeated coach.
no, you didn't do it.
Oh, I did it.
Oh.
The Emperor Melody lost his first game.
Oh,
It took a former
I
Morris
saw you
coach
trying. You're like, huh?
and a Doylestown coach to take the big man down. But we did it yesterday. 1 point game. I paid Abby off to miss the kick. It worked out pretty well.
That was the best. He goes, so just to give the context for those who weren't there, right?
Yes,
so
please,
we're playing this game, and it's tight. I mean, we made these teams about as even as we could on paper.
Nice
and,
one.
And it was turning out to be that way, right? So it's turning out very even, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So they wind up with a penalty, probably like maybe 15, 20 meters out, and like not too far, like maybe edge of the posts, not wide necessarily, but not dead straight. And Abby's on the field, and like they're talking about it, and they're like, well, should we kick to the corner, try to maul? And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, I can't believe it. And then finally Abby's like, well, we can kick for points. So Melody, of course, is on the sideline, ruminating still from the showcase where she hit 2 kicks from about the same spot, and it was the game winner.
Yes.
And he's like, it's
11-10.
automatic. He's like, it's automatic she goes for points, right? So somehow the kid pushes it wide.
Oh!
And he comes off, he's like, that kid hits that kick automatically against me. He's like, when she's kicking for me, she misses it wide. It was very funny. To his credit, very funny.
Because the kicking whisperer wasn't in her ear.
That's right. See?
Oh, my God.
But
that is tough.
It was pretty funny.
Shane
So
and
the
I
Emperor
took down the Emperor.
So the Emperor fiddled while Rome burned.
That's it.
Oh,
boy.
Yeah, so now there's only one.
Is that Shakespeare?
No, only one coach without
Jeff,
a
it's
blemish.
Jeff the All-Star. That's
Jeff,
his name now,
That's it.
the
Yeah,
All-Star.
Jeff is left.
Steamroller Jeff.
So yeah, Brian Melody's down to 1.5 claps.
The champ. 1.5 claps.
That's 1.5 more than I got. That's 1.5 more than I got.
And no coin.
Poor Jay
Good
got no
Lord.
claps.
Brian's got 3 coins.
It's
Brian has
true.
3
Melody
coins,
has 3
yeah.
coins
I
because
only
he
got
did
2.
7s. He got 1 for 7s.
There you go.
No, he got
Pittsburgh. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Oh, you get one for winning or coaching?
Coaching.
Coaching.
Oh, okay.
See if you were a coach.
Excellent point.
Might want to mark that down in your book.
I'm a
If
level,
you were a coach,
Check
Jan.
your
I'm a
calendar.
level 200 coach.
It's marked down. It's seared here.
Coach at a university program.
I'm not gonna lie for you guys, just because no one else will know and hear about this. But yeah, so after we go around the room, like this person, like 2 claps, all the whole room, boom, boom. This person, 1 clap, boom. Jan says to me, "I got no claps."
None.
I go, but you're a new coach. You haven't done.
Yeah, brand new. I'm brand new coach.
To EGRL.
You went from no
coach at
coach
a
to
university.
coach. I mean,
Don't worry. Next time you'll get a clap.
I coach
No,
at
half a clap.
You're a solid. Yeah.
You're a solid half a clap next
coach
time.
at a small college. I coach at Drew University.
Oh,
So we digress.
Anywho, so yeah, bottom line is fall we're here.
Chock full.
Right? It's here. It's packed. We'll see some 7s. We'll see some 15s.
Awesome.
We're going to see that team that we saw yesterday at the clinic and camp and the one the week before. That's going to come together in Richmond for the black and blue game, which is essentially the EGRL inter-squad game.
Okay.
In Richmond, Virginia, because that's the center of our territory. Then those kids will sort of get pared back and whittled down to around 25.
Okay.
Those 25 will play at Navy, Annapolis.
Oh, looking forward to that.
For
Yeah.
the Army-Navy game as a warm-up to the Army-Navy rugby game. EGRL is going to play Midwest Baby Birds as a friendly. And that'll be our 25 that can roll. It'll be without Pennsylvania, which is important to note. That's a big asterisk.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
The Pennsylvania State Championships are that day.
Okay.
So there's a solid core group of Pennsylvania kids who would otherwise more than likely be in that group and will not
Happy
be
for
there.
him, but that stinks.
But hurts a little bit, but it's
We'll
okay.
see.
It
One or
opens
two
it,
might come.
right, and it
One or
opens
two
the door
might come.
for other kids who maybe wouldn't have gotten those
Okay.
chances. So that's cool.
Okay.
And then from there, 25 will go to Tampa, February 13th through maybe 16th or 17th.
It's a great trip.
And that'll be against USA South, USA West, us, and Midwest. And listen, Midwest it's their event. They started this thing, and they've invited us, and we've gotten to sort of the finals with them each time, but not been able to seal the deal. Maybe this is our year.
I love it, Mike.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, there's some big improvements made year over year down there, and I agree with you.
It's a great tournament.
Right?
It is great.
Yeah, yeah. What a great time to get away from the cold in the Northeast.
I'm going to put it
Go
in
to
everybody's
Tampa.
ear right now on podcast. Got to do the Friday night game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
1 or 2 on Friday night, 1 or 2 on Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah, I think everybody liked that, and I think that generally the tenor so far has been like, hey, Friday was a good experiment last year. So.
And that frees us up for shenanigans.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, boys.
One last.
Oh.
Oh boy.
There you go.
One last thing I think is important to mention is that
Yeah.
I think that all the EGRL teams, especially the ones up here in the north, are rejuvenating their U12, U14 programs.
Fair point bringing that up.
And I know Morris has rebuilt theirs. And
Thanks to you.
Yep.
Yeah, well done,
That's
brother.
not why I
A lot
said
of
that.
hard
No,
work.
no,
in the
no,
summer.
no, no.
You wanted the golf clap, you're getting a golf clap.
Yeah.
All right, a golf clap.
And Chris.
Yeah, and Chris too, and
Yep.
and Adam Brennan, who's also a Morris guy, but also the other programs too. And Shane and I have been communicating back and forth from Shane from Doylestown about just making sure that we can get these kids games, and that way we're a feeder program into the high school level. You know, like Dobbs says all the time, we want to develop these athletes, these younger athletes, not just to play rugby, but to start.
There you go, brother.
It's a very
to
good
start
point.
on their rugby programs.
Well, and I know Shane has mentioned it to me. They've got great numbers at Doylestown.
Yeah, they do.
Alicia in Charlotte has mentioned it. They've got big, robust group of middle schoolers. So, I mean, it's happening. It's kind of like the ebbs and flows and whatever, peaks and valleys. But bottom line is it's way on the way back. And in fairness, we like to give you a hard time, but you did a lot of work this summer. And it shows.
Unbelievable.
You
yeah.
did great.
It really
Yeah.
does.
And
These
I'm
two
not
guys.
joking this time.
Yeah, and it's the
pointing at
flag
Chris behind
program.
there.
You know,
Yeah.
it's pulling them from the flag programs. I think that's the key. You know, there are people in the flag program that don't believe that. I think that the reason why we
You're
developed
100% right.
The reason why we developed the flag program was to get Americans playing rugby.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago, plus
More than that.
20
More
than
than
20
that.
years ago, and there's certain models. Morris is one of them, and it's to get Americans playing rugby at a young age.
Well said, brother.
Nice to see when it
well
works.
Said. Nice to see when it works is right. And
This
nice-
is why we have you on the podcast.
This is why.
As an inspiration.
Not just a clacker. Oh, he's a great guy. Hey, if I may, let me pull this all together. Right?
Yeah, right
we
on.
always kind of sum it up and stuff. So if you guys have a couple of things, but I'd like to finish it up because I think I have something really important which you all agree with. Right? Anything to add before
Do it.
we?
Got one real quick.
Oh.
Big announcement next podcast.
Oh.
Big announcement.
Oh, keep them hanging. I love it. Well
it.
done.
I have
You're-
no
sure to
idea.
tune
What
in.
I have no idea what
Be
he's talking
sure to
about.
tune
I have
in.
no idea either.
I mean,
That's how you suck.
know.
on
it's a big
That's how
announcement
you
for
do it.
everybody. Okay.
It's like the end of the Fall Guy. To be continued.
To be continued.
Good.
I've been jumping over buildings.
Go ahead, all you.
I always like to call out Go Eagles. We're going to call out Go Eagles because we have our own Test Fury.
Yeah.
And the women heading out they're in Vancouver right now, and they've got some big games coming up. So go Lady Eagles.
Make it happen.
Let's go.
And Tess gave all of her time on Tuesday also with
As she
Munster.
does.
Yeah.
As she does.
She did contribute to that. That was awesome.
Thank you for listening to episodes of The Garage, the official, unofficial voice of the Elite Girls Rugby League. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Elite Girls Rugby League and follow us on Instagram at Elite Girls Rugby. Special thanks to our producers, Team O'Brien, Ken Imbusch from Munster Rugby, Big Alan Grace for supporting all the local troops behind the grill, Bravo, the official production dog, Primo behind the camera, Troy, a new voice in the pod, and all the EGRL sponsors.
I am Iron Man.